welcome to the MVP podcast. My name is B-Man. I'm here with Sauce with the sauce, and I'm also here with Tariq. Wagwan, man, then what are you saying?
Bless.
What's happening, brothers?
Chilling.
I like the background you got there, T.
Yeah.
Oh, listen.
There, you know. I like that.
I'm getting creative, man. I'm getting creative. I'll be using this a lot more nowadays, man.
I can't do it, man, because of it has to be white. It has to be white. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
Nah, man. Change it up, man. Switch it up.
I can't. The wall has to be white.
I switched it up. Look where I am. Man, outside.
Oh, Bunda, I'm not going outside, man. This is my spot.
Listen,
I'm still social distancing, by the way.
This is where I do all my podcasts, and this spot is also where I teach all my lessons from. Is this? And you know what kills it? Yeah, one of the kids, because there's a comment section during the video, just went, "Sir, why is there a rip behind you?" Oh my God. I was like, yo, listen, I'm not so nitty, you know. It was there before I got here. This was here. So I'm not
gonna... understand. You can't live in a Somali household without a ripped wallpaper.
They got you though. Those kids, eagle-eyed. I rate that.
Caught me, man.
I rate that.
Whoa, God. Anyway, let's go into the real meat of the conversation, lads.
Oh, definitely.
We're talking MJ, Michael Jordan, and can I just say, you know, the more this goes on, the more Michael Jordan is a GOAT conversation gets louder and louder and louder and louder. Man. That guy was unbelievable. I don't know how to describe it, but it's a documentary, lads. This is me talking to you guys and myself as well. This is a documentary. Obviously, they're gonna make him look good. Obviously, it's like you know, on what's it called? When we watch the basketball team, man, League Pass.
Yeah.
It's like on League Pass. When you watch the condensed version, it makes you believe that no one misses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that. But you know that they miss. If you don't watch the real game, it makes the plays seem better than they are because you're like, yo, God, he made another shot. But in fact, they miss. I feel like I wish I was there, lads. I wish I witnessed this career, man.
That's true, man. And he's like, I think he didn't direct it, but I think he had obviously a big say in what was in and what was out.
Obviously.
So, of course, you know, obviously he still has all the good bits in, but yeah, I think there's a lot more to it.
It makes him like that guy that looks unbelievable. But I don't know why. I find myself seeing there's more of a distance between what I remembered of him and what I thought of him from what I'm seeing now. I get it. He's like this unstoppable talent that was just gonna just dominate. Okay. It doesn't overwhelm me like I think a lot of people are realizing, yo, this guy's a GOAT. I'm like, okay, this guy, yeah, he's a GOAT, but I don't think he's that amazing. I don't think he's that special. Maybe it's just my opinion, but I don't.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I'm speaking my truth. That's all I can do.
Okay.
No,
borderline disrespectful. Like, calm it down, man. Calm it down.
But you know what, Sosa? In your defense, if once this Kobe Bryant documentary comes out, and if they make another one in the future, it's gonna look exactly the same as this one. They're gonna look exactly the same. That same hunger, the same intensity, that same everything. It will be the same. And then a lot of people then are going to say that Kobe's the second best of all time. We know Kobe's not the second best of all time. As a matter of fact, you know, on Instagram, they put up, they were having this conversation in the comment section, and they were talking about top fives. And this guy put MJ first, Kobe second. Then he put, I want to say, he didn't even have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in there. I think he might have said Shaq. He said LeBron wasn't even in there, by the way, the top five. And it's evading me, man. Damn it. Anyway, really quickly, so your top five of all times. Real quick.
Hey, whoa. Where did this come from?
No, real quick.
Whoa.
Top five. Yeah,
I ain't ready for this.
Your top five. No.
Pressure.
Quick one. Top five right now of all times.
Okay. Magic, Larry, LeBron,
in
MJ,
order, in
Kobe.
order, in order,
In or-
in order, in order.
Ah, don't make me do this, man.
Now,
Don't make me
right
do this.
now, right now.
See, okay, I'm giving it to MJ 1. I'm
Yeah.
giving it to LeBron James 2.
Yeah,
I'm giving it to Magic 3,
yeah.
Kobe 4, Kareem 5.
Okay, T, quick.
Oh,
Top 5.
yeah, I warned us before you say this, man. I can't
know.
even.
I thought of it now, man.
Just copy and paste. There's
No, don't copy and
how-
paste, man. Don't copy and paste, man.
I'll copy and paste MJ1, LeBron 2, and then that's when it gets hard from there. Kobe 3, sorry. And then after that, it's Shaq 4, Kareem 5.
No Magic in your top 5.
Nah.
Oh, ow.
Hey, what's yours?
Yeah, come on.
What's yours?
No,
You
but
doing it?
I saw the conversation. I thought about it.
No.
But I've already thought about this. At least you two were on the spot. Like, I already thought about it. So it's not the same. Do you get me? But I said Mike, I said LeBron, I said Shaq, I said Magic, I said Kareem. I didn't even put Kobe top 5. I didn't put Kobe top 5. I didn't. But that's the reasons. That's another episode. Right? I just wanted a quick top 5. But let's talk about the moment that is his father passed away, man. It's when MJ's father passed away.
Yeah, so what was it? August 13th, 1993.
Wow.
It's weird. It's weird because for MJ's dad, he was like considered his best friend. From what I could see and from what I could understand, he was the only guy, because he didn't plan on MJ didn't plan on continuing playing, and MJ's dad was probably the only people that knew. And the fact that he wouldn't tell anyone else that information, and then for his father to die the way that he did, I'm not surprised that a guy like MJ would just be like, "Yo, I'm done. It's really horrific, the fact that we went missing for 3 weeks. Like, you know what doesn't happen nowadays? There's too much social media. Like, if someone goes missing for 48 hours, already that's an issue. This guy was missing for weeks, which is even more sad when they found him. And like it's just devastating. And I get why he didn't want to play after that.
Yeah, that was heartbreaking, man. It's the bit about him being missing for so long, no one having any idea what happened, and then when you find out exactly how he went, that's hard, man. Especially when you realize how close of a relationship he had with him, and how he went to every single game, and obviously them images of his dad being next to him like every championship he won, especially after that first one. That was heartbreaking, man. I didn't even know that story before this. Like you say, so it makes sense why he just left the game for a while.
Yeah, to be fair, I knew most of it. But what I didn't know was how relentless the media was. To insinuate so shortly after the death of his father, to say, well, is this because of his gambling problem? Does he have a debt? Did they take his father? Because that was the part where I was like, okay, this is heavy. Like, I know the media they're like hawks, but I feel like they took a step too far there, man. They took a step too far.
It was way too far.
Yeah.
Do you reckon it'd be like that nowadays if something like that was to happen?
I think there's more control over the media now. So, for example, ESPN would not try to anger too many players at the same time, because they don't want players to be on the bad side. Players won't do interviews. They won't answer questions from that particular company. So there's ways around it. There'll still be individuals like Skip Bayless, obviously, that'll chat the world of garbage, but it's
not to that extent, though.
Not exactly, not to that extent. But I think I'm the only one that thinks that obviously he left the game, and obviously his father passed away, and that's a big deal to him as his best friend. It's a year and a half. Well, technically, it's 2 years wasted, man. That's the only way that I can look at it, is that's 2 years wasted. Even that half a year came back wasted. Except for the playoffs, that wasn't wasted. But that 2 years was wasted, man. I wish he'd pushed through it and stayed in the game. Genuinely, that could have been potentially. That could have been 8 titles.
Do you really think he would have won 8 titles in a row though?
I
Do you reckon
so.
he didn't need that break?
I
think he needed
so.
a break.
Well, with the off season and stuff, I think he would have been able to keep up. Although a lot of people said that he was exhausted by the end of that 3rd ring. So maybe you're right. I don't know, man.
Nah, 8 in a row.
It's
No.
Listen, he 3-peated twice. If he hadn't done that, you would have said the same about him 3-peating twice.
I will say this. He wouldn't 8 in a row. I reckon he would 5 in a row. If it was a case of he just kept going, he'd get 5 in a row from the ability that he had and the amount of effort he put it in.
And then what? He'd burn out.
He burned out because he was saying he wanted to retire. Like from what I understood and from what they were showing in the documentary, he wanted to retire a year before. But he wanted to 3-peat because the Magic and the Lakers hadn't done it.
Not the Magic and the Lakers. Magic and Bird had never done it.
Magic and Bird had never done it. Sorry, I'm all over the place today. I'm not. Just give me a pass. You know what I mean?
I'll let it go. I know what you mean. But I think you're right. Do you know? Well, actually, we're going to come back to that. We're going to talk about that in a second. But LeBron made it to 8 finals, man. LeBron made it to 8 finals in a row.
Yeah.
And Michael Jordan's Chicago Bulls team was miles better. Obviously, if we talk about it in a sense of what if he stayed, then, he might win more rings, but it wouldn't have planned out the way that it did. For example, I don't think they would have had Dennis Rodman if he stayed in the game because they would have stuck with Horace Grant, who was still like a all-star type of player. I don't think they would have signed some of these players that ended up on the Chicago Bulls team. So I don't know if it would have gone that way, but I honestly wish that they just stayed and played the game out the way that it was supposed to, man.
I got a question for you. When MJ left and Scotty became the leader, what was your opinion of Scotty?
Well, first of all, we need to get there.
Okay, so Michael Jordan is left. It's Pippin's team now. Tariq, what did you make of that?
I'll start off by saying, first of all, I like the way Pippen led that team because he wasn't like he was on the same page as everyone. It was all let's do it by committee. They were moving the ball. They love playing with Scotty. Michael wasn't there. There was no pressure. Everything was good until it got to that point where he decided he wasn't going to come back into the game. That last shot.
That's mad.
And to me, he was a B word for that. I'm not even going to say.
What? Do you know what? I didn't know that Pippen did that. Or I think I forgot, and I'd seen it before. But that puts a dent next to his name for me. There's never a place where a athlete should be quitting on the team ever.
Never.
Under whatever circumstance. Even if the coach says to give the ball to someone else, it doesn't matter who gets the ball. Well, it does matter. Sorry, it does matter. But it's one game. Every other game has been the whole game runs through Pippen. Everything, the whole triangle offense is perfect for him because he moves the ball so much. Don't tell me that you're quitting on your team because you're not getting the last shot, bruh.
No, that's weak, man. That's weak.
That is weak, man.
You can't do that. It's to quit on the team, and the guy who was given the shot made the shot, and you won the game.
Yeah.
Now, how bad did he look after that?
That's what I'm saying. And to then come back the next day and be like, yeah, come on, let's get this done. Shut your mouth, man. You deserve to get beat. You deserve to get beat, man.
Yeah. Shall I tell you who else is a B word as well?
Who's that?
The guy in the locker room started crying.
Oh, my
God.
What was his name now?
I remember, man.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He gave the speech to Pippen and started crying.
Yeah, because it's an emotional moment.
Being, man. It's an emotional. Yeah, it's emotional.
Man. Just tell him what you really think of him, man. Just keep it 100, innit?
That's simple, man. But do you know what it is? This is the difference, right? Do you know when you have a team and they lose their star player? For the short term, it works because you're just working off of each other. But it's those moments when you get to that struggle, that struggle, the first hurdle, for example, because any team can go a stretch of, 30, 40 games and win 25 to 30 of them. Any team can do that. with or without your superstar. Your superstar gets you over the hump when you hit a block. They barge through it. That's where your Michael Jordan comes in, Magic Johnson, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, all of them. And I think that playoffs was the wall that they hit. They were never, ever going to win without Michael. Never. However good the offense looked without Michael, which I still believe the triangle offense was made to pass, not to shoot. But Michael was the one that he gets all the credit for doing everything because he did everything. But where it mattered the most were those moments where he wins the game, or the moments where he turns something around, or that moment after a game where he gets so angry at himself that he comes back the next game and destroys them. It's the moments that won them the titles. And it's a shame. It's a shame. It would have been fun if Pippen won that ring. But it was never.
How would that have changed it, man? Like, if he had won that ring, like, that would have completely changed. Like, would Jordan even come back if it was now Pippen's team?
I think so.
Because the documentaries. Go on, T.
I was going to say, Pippen had a really good season that year, man. He was an MVP candidate, so like up until that point, he did really well. So it's just that final moment, he just couldn't get them over the hump. But no, I want to put it on him specifically, you know. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. I think that moment where he quit on the team, that just kind of
that's the
moving. Like the rest of that series, I think that killed him, man.
Do you know, in the show, there was this recurring theme that keeps coming up, right? And more so in this episode more than any, or at least the last 2 episodes, is that Michael Jordan will look for any excuse to get riled up. He'll look for any excuse to come out bigger and stronger. Even with that story where he played B.J. Armstrong and B.J. Armstrong said something to him. I forgot what it was. But apparently he lied because he just wanted to psych himself. Yeah, because he wanted to psych himself up to win the next game. Or the time where someone told him 45 is not 23. Or the time where he's always creating these competitions in his head in order to actually get a win. It's ridiculous.
It's the LeBradford story. Where the LeBradford, like, I didn't know who this guy was. I'll be honest with you. I never heard of him. And this guy...
The guy called LeBradford, man, on his team.
No. He's on the next team. He's on another team. And
the guy that dropped something like 40, was
like
it?
37. 30 something.
Yeah.
Apparently, he goes to Jordan, yo, good game.
That's the one.
And Jordan's
That's the one.
You talk it. Okay, bet. And this guy just torched, like, got 37 and a half. And you're like, what? And then it turns out, he never actually said anything to me. I just made it up. It's like, yo,
just to get himself riled up, man. I told you, these moments, he creates it in his head. This guy's a psycho. Michael Jordan's a psycho. He creates all these barriers.
I didn't like this guy. This guy is like, if you're willing to go to this extremes, like, that is not normal behavior, man. That is definitely not normal behavior. But he won championships, but it's not normal.
Do you know, there was one thing that they said, right? He said, I want to be in a position where I feel like I own that person. I want to own that person. I want to own that team, right? And it's the thought process that was slightly scary. Anyway, it was a thought process slightly scary, but for him, it was always a case of trying to get a mental edge on the person. So if he knew, it's like a game. It's like, okay, if I'm playing this team now. Let's say he was playing the Seattle Supersonics, and Gary Payton is in front of him, and Gary Payton had a good game in the regular season or whatever. He would keep that as a mental note, as a reminder next time. Yo, do you know what? The next time I see him, this is what I'm going to do to him. This is what I'm going to do to him. And he'll go out and batter. This guy's a monster. I'm telling you, this guy's a monster.
Bro, the thing about this documentary is, I don't know how much to believe in it. You know what they say? It's like it's just the way it's produced. It's like, yeah, we lost that game, and he said that to me. So the next game, I came back and did this.
Yeah.
Only because he said that to me. It's like Jordan can do this anytime he wants. And he goes, 45 not 23. As soon as he said that, I killed him the next game. And Gary Payton goes, when I decided to guard Michael Jordan that game, I finally said, I'm going to guard him. I'm going to shut him down.
Yeah. I told you.
It's just in the waters.
It's a recurring theme. It comes
Yeah.
up, but do you know why I do believe it though? Is because Kobe used to be exactly the same. And that was more out there on a week-to-week basis because Kobe, anytime he felt like he needed to destroy someone, he'd say, like, look, I had to go and beat him because he did A, B, and C. But it's crazy, man. So let's talk about Ring 4 to wrap it up, right? So he goes on his break, he comes back, and he gets beaten by Orlando Magic. And what people don't realize is he didn't leave for 2 years. He won his third ring, left for a year to play baseball, and then he played another half a year, but then the baseball league got put on hold. And I think it's sort of like finance issues and whatnot. And he said he doesn't want to be involved in that. And he ended up training with the Chicago Bulls, and then he ended up coming back and he played that season. So my question to you is, should he have ever even come back in that season?
I mean, he wanted to play, so I guess the real question is if the baseball season was still going, would we ever see Jordan in a Bulls jersey again?
I think so. I think we would have seen him the following season. Not obviously, I don't think he would have stopped halfway through, but I think by the end of that baseball season, I think he would have realized like that the game is not stimulating enough for him. At what point is it going to push you further than you've gone? Because at some point the love of the game has to factor into it. And I don't think.
What do you reckon, T?
I think he probably would have, you know. Baseball just wasn't. I don't think he would have like pursued it for the rest of his career. I think he would have eventually got to a stage where he would have missed basketball enough to have said like, I'm gonna give it one more shot, even if it was 4 or 5 years down the line. Like he would have returned to basketball at some point. I mean, like the guy retired and then came back with the Wizards at like 40. So like, you can just see he was still burning inside him. Like I think he would have come back even like maybe later in his career. Yeah. But whether he should have come back that season, physically no, because he wasn't ready. But he's Michael Jordan, so you know why would you stop? Like, you're not gonna say no. Exactly. Of course, you're gonna take him. Like it increases your chances of winning, even if he's half fit to play.
And that's where he ended up. Going to the NBA playoffs, losing to Orlando Magic with a really young Shaquille O'Neal. By the way, without injury, Shaquille O'Neal might have been the greatest of all times. I 100% stand by that. If Shaquille never got injured, he would have been in the conversation for greatest of all times. He was that dominant. But that's a different conversation altogether. Maybe. But he ended up going into the fourth season, and that was the year where they won 72 games. Now, we know now that there's a team that will surpass that, which is the Golden State Warriors, right? Who ended up giving up a 3-1 lead to LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. I just had to put that in there, right? But what do you make of a team that goes through all that madness of 72 games winning streak and then ends up winning the title, beating the team that beat them the year before? Like, where do you even put that in the ranks of any other title run, period?
They had a saying for that season: it don't mean a thing if you can't get a ring. So, like, they had to win. Like, these guys it was a formality at that point. Like, they were literally just on a charge. Like, so I didn't expect nothing less from these guys. Like, they were that dominant. You know what I find interesting though is when they were talking about his competitiveness, and this is when, like, at the beginning I thought he was just nuts, but then when you see it applied in practice, like, I kind of realized when they came into training, it's like, yo, you're gonna train hard, and the only way that I know you're gonna train hard is I'm gonna train hard, and you guys gotta keep up. And the amount of just people that he pushed and pushed, like, I don't think modern day players would take that type of torture that he took his players through during the off season, because he went nuts.
I think there's quite a few players actually that would benefit from that and actually would have preferred it, especially in the NBA. If it comes from the greatest basketball player in that era, you are going to listen. So if it was someone else that told them that they need to work that hard, they're not going to listen to that, because they're going to look at you and say, well, who the hell are you?
Bro, he punched Steve Kerr in the face, fam. Like, I'm just saying. Like,
I did not know this, but Steve Kerr punched him first.
He broke.
He elbowed him in the chest, didn't it?
Yes. Yo, listen. Well, they said punched him in the chest. I think just punched the elbow. Either way, yo, if you're gonna put your hands on someone, you better be ready. You know.
No, now we're just getting Andrew Wiggins and Carl Anthony Towns getting bullied by Jimmy Butler. That's what we're getting nowadays.
That is a good example, you know. That is a good example. That's a good example. But that's what I'm trying to say. Jimmy Butler hasn't proved anything for him to talk smack to anybody. You know what I mean? You have to be like, if the likes of your LeBrons, your Stephs, your KDs, you know, these are Kawhi Leonard, your big dogs are pushing you, then yeah, you know, because they've got rings, multiple.
It's changed though now. It's like superstar players, they have to lead by example and like create a whole team chemistry.
Yeah.
Like LeBron and KD and Steph and these guys do. Giannis and all these guys, like, it's like, I'm the leader, so I'm going to create this culture where like we're a team. Like we do everything together. We spend all this time together, you know, 24/7. Most of the, like, we practice together, we see each other more than like our own families and stuff like that. So it's like building that whole chemistry. That's what it's all about now. Back then they probably didn't. Back then you could see Jordan only spent time with certain players, like off the court, like very few. Scottie Pippen and maybe one or two others. Whereas now, most teams, like, they'll try to do something like all 15 players. Like, that's the one thing LeBron always does. Like, I've seen with the Lakers now as well. Like, they've said, Danny Green said it so many times. Like, I've never been part of a team where everyone does the same thing. DeMarcus Cousins even said it as well in one of the interviews. He's like, literally, this team does everything together. If they're going to movies, if they're going to eat, if they're just going anywhere, it's all 15 players are like part of anything that's going on. So that's more or less how people do it nowadays.
Yeah. But that's because it's been proven that teamwork works. That's why it baffles me that we still have ISO players in the league. There will be a point where, and I 100% believe this, there'll be a point where we won't have that many ISO players anymore, if at all. Because everything is going to be threes, pass. You're not going to have your James Hardens anymore because it doesn't win you rings. It doesn't get you anything. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Guys, Sosa, do your thing.
Guys, if you like the video, like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Share with your friends. We do appreciate that. We've got plenty of content. Check out our social medias. Links are down below. B-Man, wrap this up.
Yeah, and guys, thank you for watching, and we'll be back again soon. So, peace.
Peace.